Hello, and welcome to another edition of Conspirator Brock's Pull List. This is my pull list for the week of November 15th, 2017. Fairly decent sized week this week, so we're going to get right into it. First up, we have American Gods number 9. This is the comic book adaptation of Neil Gaiman's American Gods novel, which is a really, really good read. It is very wordy, so yeah, I would almost recommend reading the book, but yeah, I love the book. I need to reread the newer version, but I've really enjoyed the comic book adaptation. I think it sticks very well to the source material. So, yeah, good times. Next up, we have Aquaman number 30, continuing the Underworld story arc. I've been really enjoying Aquaman since Rebirth. It was Johns had done it, reset Aquaman back with the New 52, and it was really solid at the beginning, and then it stayed okay for the most part for the rest of that New 52 run, but the Rebirth run has been just consistently good all around, so yeah. Next up, we have Batman number 35. This continues the Rules of Engagement, and it looks like Selina has to go up against Bruce's ex, Talia. So, yeah, this should be interesting. So, Tom King has just been killing it with Batman. And, yeah, if you have not read Batman, you really, really need to. Next up, we have Batwoman number 9. This continues the Fear and Loathing story arc. The current iteration of Batwoman has been okay. It's not the best, and I'm most likely going to drop Batwoman off of my pull list soon, but we'll see. Next up, we have Jeff Lemire's Bloodshot Salvation, issue 3. I don't know why they've renumbered Bloodshot and retitled it, but that's what Valiant's been doing lately. I'm really enjoying Jeff Lemire's run on it. So he started with the Bloodshot Reborn stuff and then continued from there, but really, really good stuff. Next up is the ginormous title this week that everybody should be picking up. It's already apparently sold out at Diamond, which means that it's going to second prints, which the second prints will be available at the beginning of December. And that is Dark Knight's The Batman Who Laughs. Yeah, Batman Lost was last week, and holy crap was that good. And this one has been touted as being exceptionally awesome. So I cannot wait to dive into that one. I actually went and finally read The Man Who Laughs one shot, and it was good too. Next up, we have Descender number 26, another Jeff Lemire title this week. Descender's just a really good book overall. Yeah, not much else. Next one is for my daughter, and that's Disney Princess number 15. Hopefully we'll read it one day. Next up is East of West number 35. Really enjoy East of West, but I really think I'm going to enjoy it more once I go back and read it in bulk. They have some nice hardcovers out, so I might start picking those up. But overall, I enjoy East of West. Next up, we have Green Lanterns number 35. I'm going to butcher this if I read it backwards. O Bolfunga, Where Art Thou? Part 1. Yeah, we'll see. Green Lanterns has been okay. I'm still enjoying it, so yeah. Next up is Justice League 33, which is the Bats Out of Hell finale for the Metal tie-in. So we get to see how that story finishes up. So far, both the tie-ins, the individual one-shots, and the crossover books have been really, really solid. Especially since the crossover books tend to don't really disrupt the flow of the book they're from. I'm a little worried that what happens afterwards might spoil some stuff for After Metal, but I'm not. They've been doing good so far, but I can't wait to see the end of the Bats Out of Hell story arc. Next up, we have a new number 1 from Ninjak, and that's new number 1 from Valiant. That's Ninjak number 1, if I can speak today. Yeah, I don't know why they renumbered it. It was doing fine with the numbering it had, but Valiant's going through the renumbering phase of their publishing cycles. So, yeah. Next up is Superman number 35. This continues the Imperious Lex story arc, which has been really, really cool, and I've enjoyed it immensely. So if you have not checked out Superman, I do highly recommend Superman and Action currently if you want to check out Superman titles. Next up, we have Trinity number 15, Dark Destiny. This book has been going at a slow pace. It's okay. It's not something that I would highly recommend to people, but it is an interesting book, basically giving some adventures of the Trinity, which is Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. So, yeah, if you like those three characters, check it out. If you're like not too concerned, nothing earth-shattering in these books. Next up, we have The Wildstorm number 9. Yeah, it's been an interesting read. It's been weird. It's Warren Ellis, so yeah, but I like seeing these Wildstorm characters in a different take, but good stuff overall, and I'm enjoying it. And finally on the pull list is Wonder Woman Conan 3 of 6. Yeah, the first two were interesting, so I'm curious to see where issue 3 goes. Overall, I don't think it's something that's completely like groundbreaking, but it is an entertaining story to say the least. So if you're a Conan fan, pick it up. If you're a Wonder Woman fan, pick it up. If you're both, pick it up. If you're just curious and want to check out some weird team up between Conan and Wonder Woman, check it out. We were shorted at Comics Conspiracy a few titles. The biggest one was Super Sons number 9. So hopefully we'll be getting that in later this week or next week. So that'll be up on my next pull list or the one after. So it sucks when stuff's delayed, but there's not much you can do about it, except hope that your store can get the copies it was supposed to get in the first place. I did grab some variants this week from DC, so we'll go into those. And I did pick up a few issues that were shorted last week, so I'll go over them here. First off, we have Aquaman 30 with its Justice League movie variant. So that one was pretty cool, so I snagged that one. Batman 35 is the 800th issue of Batman, so they had their 800 variant there. The issue wasn't oversized or anything, it was just a normal issue for 35, so I thought that was cool. It wasn't too gimmicky, they just did it with the cover. So yeah. Next up we have Green Lanterns 35, which I like that one, so I snagged that one. Of course, Justice League 33 had its metal tie-in variant there. Superman 35 had the Justice League variant. If you notice, Superman is missing from some of these. Probably wonder why. And Trinity had its Justice League movie variant. But we have the silhouette of Superman, so there is hope. Of course, Wildstorm had its Jim Lee cover, which is really dark, so I'm not too sure about that one. Also, coming out soon, there is going to be a Justice League Day free comic for you on Justice League Day. It's basically a reprint of the it's a reprint of the DC New 52 Justice League number 1, so check that out if you get a chance. It also comes with a free digital coupon, so you can get a free digital issue as well. I don't remember if I picked this one up. I probably did, but if I didn't, I'm getting it anyway. But if I did, I have to return it. And that's the Justice League movie variant for Action Comics for issue 991 from last week. I didn't snag this one up, and I should have, and it was the Birds of Prey regular cover. Reason I snagged it up is it's got Harley, Catwoman, and Poison Ivy, which is the Sirens, so sucker for that. The previous Green Lantern issue, the variant was shorted, so I finally snagged that one up. And we got our copies finally in of Mr. Miracle's regular cover for number 4. So yeah, good times on that. Okay, that's it for my pull list. Now let's move on to the read list, which the read list is going to get drastically shorter due to the fact that Comics Conspiracy as the store, we are not ordering as much of titles that I'm not necessarily picking up, the ones I'm just reading. Yes, a fair majority of those are Marvel titles, and it's due to the fact that Legacy just Legacy moved the needle for a little bit, but that needle went straight back down after those Legacy titles, and Marvel is up to their old games again. I'll get into that in a little bit because I wanted to bring something up later. But first, let's get through the read list. First up, we have The Mighty Thor 701. This continues the death of the Mighty Thor. It's Jason Aaron. It's Thor. It's been good. Can't wait for an omnibus. Next up, we have The Punisher number 218. Yes, Punisher is apparently getting the War Machine armor, and that is the name of the story arc that started. It was an interesting read. I did find it interesting. It was very Punisher-esque, so I'm curious to see where they go with it. So hopefully I can check out the next issue, but we'll see. And finally, on my read list for this week is Star Wars Darth Vader number 8. Is it who's doing it? Soul. Yeah, Soul's been doing a decent job with Darth Vader, so I'm gonna keep going with it. Enjoy that. I'm enjoying the Star Wars stuff that Marvel's been putting out. So yeah. And I did grab one that we had last week, but we didn't have enough copies for me to safely take one. But since we had copies to put on the shelf, I snagged one up. And that was Jessica Jones 14, continuing the return of the Purple Man. This was a really good issue. So it's kind of sad that Bendis is leaving Marvel because his Jessica Jones stuff has been amazing. So that is it for my pull and read list. I brought up a little bit ago stuff about Marvel back to their old antics. Today, while I was going through Twitter, there was a few articles that caught my attention, and it was one was a clickbait article from Drew Terra and Bleeding Cool, where basically he was saying that the Avengers month variants that Marvel's planning on doing is going to save the industry, or is going to correct all problems with the industry, and that's just a flat-out bullshit lie. You can check out the article yourself if you want. It has pictures of the variants. The depressing part about that is as a store and working at a store, it would be great to have an Avengers variant month, much like DC had done with Looney Tunes and Green Lantern and Joker and Harley, and made theme months. It's really cool that they can do that. The problem with that is when ordering them requires you to order more of something that you wouldn't order anyway. So DC has been doing basically 2 covers for every book since Rebirth. They are both open order on the covers. Supergirl basically is a great example of that. We would order X amount because we wanted to get enough for subscribers and a couple for the shelf. If we sold through, great. And if people wanted the variant, we would order variants for subscribers and then order a couple for the shelf. Which gave us, at Comics Conspiracy, gave us the ability to make sure that we had the product, but also make sure that we don't get stuck with something that we're not going to sell. Now, the DC announced that Artgerm was going to be doing the variant covers for Supergirl. So basically, the variant cover orders shot up because it's an Artgerm cover. Artgerm is an amazing artist, so we bumped our numbers on the variant to basically what we thought we could sell of it, and it was much more than we would normally have ordered of Supergirl. Now, why did we do that? Because we had the ability at the store, on the store level, to order as many as we want, which meant we can order for subscribers and also order thinking that we could have them on the shelf for customers. Marvel does not do this most of the time. Pretty much 98% of the time they don't do this. So when it's announced that, oh, they're doing a variant cover month theme, that's great. Is it an open order variant? If it is not an open order variant, then it does not justify, the store cannot justify ordering extra copies of something that they're not going to sell just to get extra copies of a variant to sell. That leaves the store with product that's paid for that just sits. It's really a pain in the ass. It's great when we can do open orders on things like that, and we basically put up a pre-order on the store's page, and we say, hey, if you want this set of variant covers, let us know. That helps us order in advance and see how many we need. But Marvel doesn't do that. Marvel basically is saying, normally you have to order X percentage over what you ordered of X title to be able to qualify to get these books at an open order, or to get these books, period. Today, Ryan Higgins, the owner of Comics Conspiracy, tweeted that a guy came in exceedingly pissed off that no stores around the Bay Area had any of the Marvel variants. Why did none of the stores in the Bay Area have any Marvel variants? Because they want to stay in business. Because ordering excessive amounts of variants, or excessive amounts of a base cover that you won't sell any more copies of, just to get a variant that you may sell or may not sell, that doesn't justify ordering the excessive copies. All it does is inflate numbers and make it look like, oh, these books are doing well, when they're not. Most of the time you see the Diamond sales charts, those are what Diamond sold. That is not a sell-through number. That is not what your comic book stores are selling through. Marvel Legacy #1, basically, if you pay for it at full price at this point, you're crazy. There are so many copies of it out there, and it's basically, at our shop, going to be given away at Free Comic Book Day next year for free, because we're sitting on it. Now, in that case, there was a ton of variants. You had to hit these numbers. We hit the numbers, but because we hit the numbers and because of the certain variants, we were able to sell like a variant set that paid for everything. So basically, we're just sitting on comics that we're never going to sell, but we're going to use as something to give away. The Marvel Legacy is something where that's okay. You're giving something big away versus, Gwenpool, which I'm not going to sit on 100 copies of Gwenpool and then be able to give away 100 copies, or, whatever, how many copies, and push the needle either way for getting people interested. So it's exceedingly frustrating that, people online are, especially, it's a Jude Terror article, and the guy is notorious for clickbait stuff. But it is very disinformative type of article to say, oh, look, these variant covers are going to help to right the industry, and it's not. These variant covers, and especially the Marvel math, is part of the problem with the comic book industry. You want stores to be able to order things that they're going to sell and be able to sell, because if you don't, then they're not going to order things. A lot of shops are basically fed up with the way Marvel has done this, and the way they did this with Legacy and the lead up to Legacy, and Marvel saying they're going to change their ways, and Marvel hasn't changed their ways. And it's sad, because the fact of the matter is that they're, people want to read comics, people want to buy comics, but at the same time, the quality needs to be there. You need to push quality of comics, not push variant covers to try and push the needle and make it so that you're doing better than somebody else. Push the needle with good quality books. Last month's sales chart is very, very proof of that. Legacy had this big push, and even with the big push, there was holdback from retailers. Even though they ordered a lot, they still ordered with hesitation, so they backed off in orders that were super crazy. So what ended up happening was DC still dominated the top 10 books sold last month in October of 2017. They had, I think, 7 out of the 10 titles were DC centric. Then it was Metal. It was Metal and Batman basically all the way. And when you have something that has quality to it and that people want, then you're going to make money and sell through. The Legacy books, yes, dominated 11 to 25. But guess what? Those books that came up to 11 to 25, majority of them dropped back down to their regular spot on the sales chart numbers, 1 to 300. They're going to drop to November, or the same place in November, or even less. So, yeah. I've been ranting. Tell me what you think of variant covers. If you think they really, really genuinely matter. I know I pick up a lot of variant covers from DC, but that's also because I know I enjoy the variant covers, or I like the art, or if there's something I don't like, I don't pick it up. But I don't feel that the variant covers that DC is putting out, or even other companies that are putting out multiple copies of things, people have a choice what to get those. Some publishers are very smart and they say, well, we got 4 covers and they're open order on every cover. Guess what? That's a great way to do it, because then the stores can order what they want for their base and then decide to order above that. And that allows them to make keep their base happy, keep stuff in stock that they think they're going to sell, and also it basically makes it so that they're in control and they're saying what they're selling, versus somebody trying to say, nope, you need to buy all of this to be able to buy this to be able to. It's frustrating. Yeah, but that's what it is. The joke is that Marvel it's Marvel math when it comes to ordering variant covers, and it's ridiculous. So, all right, well, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments down in the comment section below. If you like this and you want to hear me talk some more on other stuff, you can listen to me on the Comics Conspiracy podcast. We just finished recording episode 332, where we answer a bunch of listener questions. We also dive straight into talking about the sexual harassment stuff that has been circulating, especially since it came up at DC, and the offending party has been let go. But basically, don't sexually harass. You just don't be a douche. It's weird. All this sexual harassment, sexual stuff that's going around in Hollywood and politics, and now in the comic book world, it's ridiculous, and it needs to stop. So yeah. So if you want to hear us talk about that stuff, check out the episode. There'll be a link in the description below. You can help me and my fellow conspirators out at Patreon, www.patreon.com/comicsconspiracy. For as little as $1 a month, you help us with paying our hosting fees, sometimes getting food, getting product, so that we can have a nice collection, because comics are expensive, and how else are we supposed to read all this stuff if we don't get stuff all the time, even though I borrow stuff? But yeah, whatever. If you want to help us out, go to Patreon/comicsconspiracy, and you can, for as little as $1 a month, you can help us there. Ryan Higgins did do an interview with Dan Slott this past weekend, so I will put a link in the description below. You can check out that interview. Apparently, Dan Slott is very hilarious, and we talked to him about his early days and how he got started in comics and his killing Peter Parker and all of this stuff. So check out the interview. And yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. My handle is @BrockSager. And what else? Is there anything else? No, I'm pretty much tired. And I need to get this up, and the dog is snoring. So yeah, I'll see you next week.